Let us pray. Dear Lord, you confidently revealed your true mission in the tabernacle at Nazareth. As children, such certainty seems like something we will never have. May we seek and follow your voice as we make our path through life. Amen. Hi, Miss Chris.
Hey, did you have a good week?
Hey, sorry.
You
guys start without me.
Well, we were just saying hi, that's all.
I got slowed down because I found the universal puzzle piece on the ground. It says A-N-Y. It goes with any puzzle. A-N-Y spells any.
That'd be a really big puzzle.
I think so. It
But I
ought
do-
to be huge, but it's a corner piece, so you know where it goes.
Okay, wait a second. If it's a puzzle piece, there's got to be another piece somewhere.
I think I see it.
Oh, well, get it.
Let's see.
They fit.
No,
No,
that's not
just
right.
the picture isn't the same.
No.
No, I don't think that's right.
Hey.
Oh, look.
What does
It
it
says
say?
Epiphany.
Oh my gosh!
Are you doing a...
That's what an
It's
epiphany
Epiphany.
is. That's right.
Oh,
Cool.
this is the season that we're celebrating right now. We're in the Sundays of Epiphany.
We are. It's great.
Cool.
It means that we can put away the Christmas stuff at last.
Yay. Very good.
Yes.
Well, this was sort of like we start off with a little revelation, a little epiphany. And the story we're going to be reading today is a little bit of revelation about Jesus, because the season of Epiphany, we're learning a little bit more about it, Jesus and who he is in our world every week. So let me read today's lesson for us.
That would be
It's-
helpful because I don't have my eyeglasses.
Well, that's why I brought mine.
Okay.
We're
You can
reading.
use mine.
No, I probably can't.
We're reading from the book of Luke, and it's chapter 4, verses 14 through 21. Okay. Then Jesus, filled with the power of the Spirit, returned to Galilee, and a report about him spread through all the surrounding country. He began to teach in their synagogues and was praised by everyone. When he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, he went to the synagogue on the Sabbath day, as was his custom. He stood up to read, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was given to him. He unrolled the scroll and found the place where it was written. This is what he read. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. And he rolled up the scroll and gave it back to the attendant and sat down. The eyes of all in the synagogue were fixed on him.
Wow.
So, I got a little confession. When I first read this passage, the Sunday school lesson, I thought it was kind of boring. And then we were talking to Mother Kira a week ago, and she had an excitement about this passage, and it suddenly, I saw the importance of it.
What did she say?
Well, she was just saying this is sort of where everything in our Bible comes together. That one moment where everything just coalesces. All of that Old Testament stuff where it had been prophesied that a Redeemer, a Savior was coming. And then in the New Testament, Jesus has appeared, and he's announcing with this reading that he is the fulfillment of what Isaiah had predicted when he had written so many years earlier.
Fulfillment is a big word.
You're right.
What fulfillment means more than just filling up
Yes.
and making full. Okay. 2 hours later, we figured this out. We got a dictionary.
We got a dictionary.
We got a dictionary. It's a Google dictionary. Fulfillment. The achievement of something desired, promised, or predicted. And the second definition is the meeting of a requirement or a condition. The fulfillment of a statutory requirement. So if you wanted to graduate from high school, you would have to fulfill the graduation requirements. You'd have to pass 4 years of high school. You'd have to take at least
So
one
many
math class.
classes.
You'd have to take a couple of English classes. There would be special requirements, and you could not graduate unless you passed all those requirements.
And fulfilled it.
And
fulfilled
fulfilled
the
it.
requirements.
And you can fulfill a prophecy. A prophecy is like somebody says something is going to happen that is very specific, and like a prediction, and says these things are going to happen. And Jesus says, I did that, this is about me. Mm-hmm. He fulfills the prophecy. And the prophecy of Isaiah was written hundreds of years before Jesus.
Right.
So it's like my great-great-great-grandfather saying, there's going to be this guy in Nashville that's going to master some okay-sounding records and go to church at St. Anne's and have 2 children. And if I read that, and it's like, whoa, how did this guy know all this about me?
You fulfill what he had predicted.
Yes, and I would want to know what the next thing is he wrote about me, because I would want to know what's about to happen.
The Old Testament book of Isaiah was probably written by 3 authors known as 1st Isaiah, 2nd Isaiah, and, surprise, 3rd Isaiah. Whether it was written by 1 or 3, the book was created hundreds of years before Jesus was born. Here is a short video from Share Faith that tells us a little bit about who Isaiah was.
During the time of the prophet Isaiah, the people of Israel, God's chosen people, were living in sin. They had forgotten all that God had done for them. They did not keep God's commandments, and instead prayed to false gods. God chose a messenger to go tell the people to stop sinning and turn back to God. He chose a man by the name of Isaiah to deliver this message. Isaiah loved God and was sad for the people of Israel. So God showed Isaiah a dream where God told him exactly what to say. In this dream, Isaiah saw God sitting on his exalted throne with angels all around him. In the dream, God spoke, and his voice was so loud it shook the building and filled it with smoke. Then an angel came to Isaiah and touched his lip with a glowing coal. This meant that Isaiah's sins were forgiven. Then, in the dream, God asked, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for me to tell the people of Israel my message?" "Here I am. Send me," Isaiah replied. "It is a difficult task," God responded. "The people won't listen, so I am going to punish them. But I am also going to give you a message of hope. I will not punish them forever." The next day, Isaiah began to tell the people what God said. Day in and day out, he told the people the sad news. "You have sinned. God will punish you. Stop sinning and obey God." But no, the people didn't return to God. Instead, they laughed and made fun of Isaiah. And then it all happened. Isaiah told the truth, and the people of Israel did not listen. God took his protection away from them, and the Babylonians conquered Israel. They carried away thousands of Israelites and made them into slaves. The Israelites were dragged away from their own country on ropes and chains. It was too late. God's punishment had started. The people were discouraged. and depressed. But Isaiah did not forget that God also gave him a message of hope. This time, the people listened to Isaiah. "Hear the good news," he told them. "A king is coming, not a sinful one like you're used to. This king will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and of peace there will be no end, on the throne of David and over his kingdom, to establish it and to uphold it with justice and with righteousness from this time forth and forevermore." This was exactly what the people had longed for. Deliverance was coming. Someday, this king would break onto the scene and make everything right again. His name would be Jesus.
So essentially, this little passage that we're studying today ties the Old Testament with the New Testament.
It does.
What you got?
Look, the back of the puzzle.
Well, hold it up to the camera. There, look. See, Old Testament, New Testament.
Old Testament, New Testament.
And that point where they meet is the passage we're reading today. Because Jesus is saying, I fulfill what this Old Testament prophet spoke of.
It was the missing link.
So, Jesus is now telling us what his job is. He's got a little sort of list of things that he is supposed to do on this earth, to bring sight to the blind, good news to the people, freedom to the people in prisons, all the good things that we know about Jesus.
He seems awfully sure of himself.
He does, but
I mean, I don't think I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. Grew up when I was 30, and I think I still don't really know what I want to be when I grow up.
he's self-assured because he has the knowledge of God within him. He knows.
But I've always wanted to know what I'm going to be
When you grow up.
Yeah. When I was in second grade, I came up to my teacher and said, I am worried about my career. Which was just a preposterous thing. I
Miss
don't know.
Chris, what about you? Have
Yeah.
you always
Yeah.
known?
No, I think I was probably early 40s before I figured out that this was exactly what I wanted to do. I kind of fell into it, but
I can say the same thing. I fell into my career and realized this was perfect for me, but it was in hindsight.
I think the thing that's important to me is that the job you do isn't the same as your career.
Oh, true.
And sometimes you find out along the way that the things you really enjoy and that you want to do are not the things that you do for money. I discovered along the way that I really enjoy teaching Sunday school. And that was
And you're
a
not getting paid
surprise
for
to
it.
me.
At least I hope you're not. I'm not.
me
Well,
neither.
Me neither. We're not. But
Okay. But you love it, and it is
But we
your
love it.
avocation.
It is something that I really enjoy doing, and I would never have guessed that.
You
when
just
I
fell
was
into it.
30. No.
And it's a lot more fun teaching Sunday school when we have our kids with us.
Mhm.
That will be the fulfillment of
The
Of the
prophecy that COVID will one day leave us the heck alone.
that would be nice. Yeah.
That'd be real nice.
Yes.
Okay. We miss you guys.
But anyway, what I was starting to say is the book we're going to be reading today, the good book, is a book about a young child kind of broadcasting what he's going to be when he grows up.
Or guessing. He's guessing.
He's sort of guessing. So we're going to get into that right now. Our book today is called When I Grow Up by Al Yankovic. Its illustrations are by Wes Hargis.
I waited so long for the hours to pass, but soon it was noon there in Miss Krupp's class, and Thursday at noon, as I'm sure you know well, is the time of the week when we do show and tell. And this week the subject, so special to me, was when I grow up, what am I gonna be? Well, that's something I'd really been thinking about, and I just couldn't wait to let all those thoughts out. So when Mrs. Krupp said,
Who's ready to share?
you can guess who was there with his hand in the air. I raised both my hands just as high as they'd go, and I bounced up and down, and then, what do you know? Well, Mrs. Krupp picked me. Yes, me, to go first. Oh, I was so happy I thought I would burst. I proudly stood up and began my oration concerning my choice for a future vocation. Esteemed friends and colleagues, and dear Mrs. Krupp, I know what I'm gonna be when I grow up. Why, I'll be the greatest chef you've ever seen. The world will go crazy for my haute cuisine. I'll tantalize taste buds with my rigatoni, sautéed with black truffles and pickled bologna, surrounded by kumquats and candied pig's feet, topped with shrimp-flavored lollipops. Bon appetit! My walls will be filled with awards that I've gotten for toast on a stick and my Twinkies au gratin. My kitchen will be the most famous in France, so make reservations 12 years in advance. There's no doubt about it. I'm certain, you see, a world-renowned chef is what I'm going to be.
That's very nice, Billy.
Sweet Mrs. Krupp said.
Who wants to be next? Maybe Susie or Fred?
I said, hold the phone now. I haven't departed. Hang on to your seats, 'cause I'm just getting started. So maybe instead I could be a snail trainer. Man, that would be awesome. Why, that's a no-brainer. I'll teach all my snails to do really neat tricks. They'll play dead and roll over and even fetch sticks. Of course, all the sticks will come back 2 years later, but working with snails, I mean, what could be greater? They'll do any stunt that I like. Holy moly, I'll train them to pedal a bike really slowly. Then jump! I mean ooze through a huge ring of fire and crawl at a snail's pace across a high wire, and then finish by writing my name with their trails. That's right, I'll be Billy, the master of snails. Or else maybe I'll be the lathe operator, who makes the hydraulic torque wrench calibrator, which fine-tunes the wrench that's specifically made to retighten the nuts on the lateral blade that's directly beneath the main radial sockets inside cooling systems on X-14 rockets. And since this profession's as cool as can be, well, who would be better to do it than me? Say, here's an idea. Perhaps, just for laughs, I might make my living by milking giraffes. It's oh so cliche to get milk from a cow, and I bet all those cows need a break anyhow. Imagine me milking my way up in the air. I'll use a tall ladder instead of a chair.
What? Milking giraffes?
Mrs. Krupp said.
Oh, please.
I countered. How else could we make giraffe cheese? Don't interrupt me. I'm not really through yet. There's still lots of stuff that I'm planning to do yet. 'Cause maybe I'll be a gorilla masseuse. Or an artist who sculpts out of chocolate mousse. Or a rodeo clown, or a movie director, or maybe a professional pickle inspector, or a big sumo wrestler, or hedge fund investor, or smelly pit sniffing deodorant tester. or I'll be an expert on nuclear fission, or else a foot model or friendly mortician, or writer or skater or master debater, or dinosaur dusting museum curator, or TV repairman or sidewalk sign waver, or part-time assistant tarantula shaver. And that's about when Mrs. Krupp said,
Now, Billy, please make up your mind. This is getting quite silly. Which one of those things are you going to choose?
I shuffled around and I looked at my shoes. And finally I said, my great-grandfather Bob's been a whole lot of things. Had a whole bunch of jobs. A butcher, a barber, a bellman, a bouncer, a telephone psychic and bingo announcer. And know what? He just turned 103. And he's still not quite sure what he wants to be. See, I'm only 8 now. So frankly, I'm hoping you'll cut me some slack if I leave options open. Let's just wait and find out what my future brings. Hey, I might have time to do all of those things. And then the bell rang, and we all went to lunch. And as I was sipping my pineapple punch, I pondered professions that I'd like to enter, like brave firefighter or crazy inventor. Or maybe, just maybe now when I grow up, I can be a great teacher, like dear Mrs. Krupp.
Well, that was a really cool book.
That was
I
cute.
really
Kid
liked
is
it.
very ambitious.
Yes, it
I
is.
love the breadth of his vision.
I'm worrying about how he shaves tarantula.
Oh
Oh.
my gosh, that is so cool. This is Weird Al.
Weird Al.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, look, he's the singer or parody singer,
Mhm.
right? He takes a song that is famous and then he rewrites it with different words.
Funny
My-
words.
Funny words.
Funny words.
Well, Michael Jackson did one called Beat It, and he made something called Eat It.
Oh,
So
yeah, the
same,
Eat It video. It's just like, gotta eat all that food. which
Same
was-
tune,
same
same
tune.
music, but with the different words. So he wrote this book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is certainly clever with words.
Yes, he is. He always has been.
Little Billy had some interesting things to say, and I applaud our readers today. Thank you, Miss Chris and Mr. Ken. That was wonderful. So, anybody want to wrap up to this lesson today?
Well, I have received a prophecy, and the prophecy says that I should go home now and wash my car or something.
Well, kids, thank you for joining us today for our Good Books lesson. And check out our craft video where we're going to be like Isaiah and we're going to scroll.
Yeah, let's scroll, baby.
Let's scroll. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.